it is kind of an unusual situation to have this elaborate of a house up here at that time. So this house was built in 1898. So everywhere else there were just log cabins, kind of thrown together with repurposed materials sometimes. So this area, the Pines, was actually settled in the 1880s by largely English and Irish folks who were coming who had some health problems. Tuberculosis, or people who were second sons of maybe well-to-do families, and basically they were paid money to go away. They were paid a monthly allowance to just get away from the family because you're not going to inherit any of this anyway. So, so it's kind of, there's places like India and places in Africa, and then this weird pocket in southern Colorado that sprung up. So it was the Pines Colony, so there were all of these different folks that came up here, including this gentleman right over here. This is Reginald Cusack, who was a doctor from Ireland.
Yes.
Dorian.
It's Dory's family. Yeah. That's why she's buried in the cemetery.
Oh, so you want to go with your family?
Very well.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Oh my God.
And we can run up to the cemetery too if you want.
Oh yeah, I love to see that.
Yeah. So he comes out here. He and his three brothers. And they pretty much, he had some health issues, so that was his reason for coming. And his brothers just tagged along, and they just were like, did as little as possible. So they worked when they had to, but which was not very much. Otherwise, they drank scotch and played poker and just did work as they needed. So Reggie, it was great. He and his brothers were doing pretty well out here. They lived not too far up the road. He built a place called Bachelor's Rest, and he started bringing in all these others, bachelor dudes from England and Ireland who would come and stay, and then some of them would keep, and some of them would go elsewhere. So Mama Cusack got a little worried about her 4 boys out in the Wild West and wanted to know, kind of check on him a little bit. So, as a good mom, she decided to come out here. And she had a traveling companion. His name was Mildred, went by Mippy. And everybody's told Mippy, according to family legend, to stay away from Reggie, that he was kind of a scoundrel type. And, of course, she came out here and she fell for Reggie. Reggie fell for her, so they got married. And they lived up the road for a number of years. And then Mippy's brother actually came out here. He also had some health issues too. So he comes out here and he meets this high society English woman in Colorado Springs whose name was Isabel Holdsworth, and known as Belle. And Belle and Jeffrey decided to get married, and they're going to live up here. And she and her family are like, no, we're not living in some shack like these other, guys that came out here. So Belle's parents paid for the construction of this house. So it was built for Jeffrey and Belle, and it was completed in 1898. And they actually got married here in May of 1898. And they lived here for a very brief time, only for about 2 years.
Oh, wow.
And then they went back to England, and the trail for Belle kind of falls off. Like this guy Tom who came to do, they just couldn't find anything about what happened to her. Jeffrey and their daughter lived around in England. So the place just kind of sat for a little while. And I think some of the other Pines colonists used it, but we can come in here because there's another amazing parlor. So you gotta remember that there's just log cabins, and then all of a sudden we've got this 2-story, V. And that's them as an older couple. So they,
This is awesome.
About 1900, Reggie moved back to the valley. He'd been in Pueblo for a little while, and If we go up to the cemetery, there's a red house, and that's where the Cusack family lived.